So people have been asking how reserve works when that month comes around, and so I thought I'd show you guys. Obviously when you're bidding for a line month, you're bidding for actual trips, so it's a lot more complicated. But when you're bidding for a reserve month, it's pretty basic. You get this. Okay, so let's take this top line. See how it says 1700? That's the number of the line. That's what you would put in and say, yes, I want this, I want 1700. So you'll see X's and you'll see M's and you'll see blank spaces. Blank spaces are, these up here is also the days of the month. Our contractual month is different than the actual month. So as you can see, June starts on the 2nd and ends on July 1st. So X's mean you have the day off. They can't do anything with those days, crew scheduling, you have the day off. Technically they can fly you into your reserve day if they need to, I mean your off day if they need to, but that doesn't happen very often. So with this schedule, 1700, you would have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th off. Blank days are days where you are at the mercy of crew scheduling. They can call you at any time for any trip. This would start the 6th at midnight and go until midnight of the 10th. So all those days you are at the mercy of crew scheduling. They can call you anytime they want to go anywhere. That's just the way it goes. So like with this one, you have 4 days off and then you work 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days and then you have 3 days off. The other thing that you'll see is an M. M means movable day. This, you have 11 X's in a month or 11 days off and you have 1 M. M is another day off. Technically, you're supposed to have 12 days off in a month. So this M means, hey, we're gonna give you this day off or a day off, and we're going to tentatively schedule it for, what is this, the 19th. But it's a movable day. So if we need you to work this day, then we can move your day off to here or here or here or here or wherever we want. We'll still give you a day off, but it may not actually be on the 19th. So what happens is you look at this and you figure out which days on you want and which days off you want, and then you put all these in the order of what you want them, and then your seniority holds what it can hold. This is what my reserve schedule looks like after I've kind of organized it. One thing I do is I highlight the weekends. So I can see that these sections have a lot of weekends off. This weekend's off, this weekend's off, this weekend's off, this weekend's off. Almost every weekend in the month is off. That's one thing that I like when looking at a reserve schedule, because a lot of like fun, interesting things happen on the weekend. Say hello, Peter. Another thing that I like, that is actually my #1 preference, is I prefer to have days off at the end of the month, so that, look at the schedule for example, when I get to this day, which is like whatever it is, it's like the 26th or something, 25th, something like that, I have the rest of the month off. I like that. I like that a lot. So I actually, any of these you see where I highlighted in orange, those are where they have days off at the end of the month. And so I put those as my #1 preference. And then I put weekends off as like kind of another preference. And then I put days off or schedules that have a chunk of days off in a row, at least 5, as probably one of my #1 preferences. Like, see this one? It has 4 days off in a row. That's pretty good, but I need 5 days off in order to commute home. So after you kind of organize it however you want to, and I crossed through a lot that I really didn't want, I write them down in order. My #1 choice was 1780. And then I went through and 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 I went through, and the one I wanted the least was 1769. So I did all that. There is actually a computer program that will do it for you. I'm just a visual person and I need to kind of see it for myself. The computer program works like you say, I really want the 15th off. I have to have that day off. I would prefer to have the 16th off too, but it's not a big deal. And then the computer kind of goes in and organizes them all for you and spits out these numbers in the order that they think you would like them. I don't know. I just like to do it myself. I don't know. The computer just doesn't work for me the way I want it to. So I do it all by myself. And then I go in and I enter these one by one in the way that I want them. So there's about 103 lines. Here's where I started. I ended up with this choice. That's the one I ended up getting. So it wasn't terrible. It's not great. It's not great. I mean, what are you gonna do? Basically, I work 3 days, have 2 days off. Work 5 days, have 3 days off. One of those is my movable day. Work 5 days, have 2 days off. Work 3 days, have 5 days off, and then the last 2 days of the month I am on. So, as you can see, I got a line 1757, I think. I didn't get weekends off at all. I didn't get the last few days of the month off at all. I did get 5 days off in a row, and none of them are my movable day. So that was what I held, and that's the way it works. That's how you do your schedule at my airline when you're on a reserve month. You just kind of look at this and say, okay, which days do I want to work and which days do I not want to work? Obviously, when you have like holidays involved, that changes it massively, because this little number at the side tells you how many people will actually get that selection. So for 1754, 2 people get that selection. So if you want Christmas Day and Christmas Eve off, not that many lines are going to have, you know, those specific days off. Say this was Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Not that many lines are gonna have both those days off. And if you do have those days off, then you go over and maybe 5 people hold it, maybe 1 or 2 people will hold it. So that's the way it works. And I am going back on reserve next month, which is June. And then July is my line month. And then August is my reserve month. And then sometime in September, I believe, I am done with probation, you guys. Isn't that awesome? I can't wait. I can't wait to be done with probation, because then you kind of have more flexibility with your schedule. You can drop trips when you want to and pick up trips when you want to. And reserve is still reserve. So I'll be on reserve for minimum the next 3 years. So that's just a fact of life. But yeah, that's how it all works.